Good morning, good morning, good morning. God bless you all. Welcome to Joy Life Center. I am here because we're going to be talking about being smart and not strong. Lots of times we feel like we need to be strong in things and use our willpower in things and overcome situations by our strength. But there are strategies in place that we are learning that we must learn to keep in place. As you'll see, there's a couple of signs behind me. One sign says everything is going to be all right. That's that positive, compassionate self-talk that we have to tell ourselves. It's going to be all right. And then the other is take a deep breath. Sometimes we just need to practice a breathing exercise. Inhale through your nostrils. Hold it for about 5 seconds. Count slow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then exhale from your lips very slowly and controlled. And you might have to do that a couple of times to center yourself, because we got to remember everything is going to be all right. Eventually, these trials come and they make us strong. So let's just take a deep breath. Hold it 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we exhale slowly out of our mouths, because that one moment that we're experiencing will not define us unless we let it. It can change the trajectory of our lives for the good and not so good. We just have to remember the best is yet to come. The best is yet to come, but we got to get through our moments. So before we go into that, we're going to go ahead and check in. At this point, I don't know who was first, so I'm just going to look on our call log, and I believe Sister Lupe was first. So good morning, Sister Lupe. Go ahead and check in. Okay, maybe she's not available to check in as of yet. Let's see. Sister Lorena, good morning. Are you available to check in?
Good morning, everyone.
Good
I
morning.
am I'm here. I'm multitasking. I'm at the DMV with my little one here that's taking her driving test.
Yay!
But I'm on the call, so thank you for letting me
Awesome.
share. Welcome, everyone.
Good morning. Good morning. Hey, tell her congratulations in advance. I know she got this. Let's see. Bianca, good morning. Go ahead and check in.
Good morning, everyone. I'm doing well this morning and doing well this morning. Grateful, amen, to be alive and grateful to be on this line on this morning. Bless you.
Bless you. Thank you. Good morning to you. Let's see. Miss Susu, good morning.
Good morning, Miss Jackson. Good morning to all.
Good
I,
morning.
I yes, I feel pretty good this morning, except for just a little tired in the body. But mine, hey, I'm good. I'm good. So I'm good, and I'm expecting to hear good news from this session, as always. Okay.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you so much for that, Miss Susu. Glad to hear you're doing so great. Let's see. Has Sister Lupe returned?
Yeah, sorry about that. I was
That's
having a
okay.
hard time getting off the mute. But yes, I'm blessed to be here. I'm very thankful I look forward to these meetings because I'm not only learning, but I'm also a student and learning some tools and just be able to start the day with self-awareness and learning tools of how to take care of me. Yeah. So I'm grateful for these meetings, and God bless everyone on this side.
God bless you. God bless you. God bless all of you. I'm just so excited about the life change that's occurring in our lives, because sometimes we kind of, move around life and we do the best that we know to do, not knowing that there's some extra help that can help us to overcome some of our unhealthy behaviors and continue to move forward. We're going to jump into our lesson today. Again, it's being smart and not strong. And I'm going to give you some examples. Sometimes you may think, oh, well, I can do this or be around that, or, I can be around drugs and alcohol. I could be around people that encourage my unhealthy behaviors, and I won't go back into them. I won't. I'm very strong. I'm strong-minded. Once I set my mind to do something, then I'm going to do just that because I have willpower and I know who I am in Christ Jesus. And you are an amazing individual in Christ Jesus. And sometimes we have to learn how to use our individuality. Sometimes we rely on some strengths of our life that maybe don't quite measure up. One thing that I love about the Word of God, when I find that the Word of God, He nourishes us. God already knew how to get the best optimum outcome from us. So He nourishes us from the inside out, of course. But check this out. He gave us His Spirit, which we receive in our hearts, but He also gave us His Word, which we receive in our minds, to renew our minds. So when we're talking about total life change, we find that I can't just do one thing that I'm good at, one thing that I've exercised and is great, one thing is going to secure me in all my life circumstance. Not so. God has given us His Spirit, and we feed the Spirit of God by feeding the Spirit of God, the Word of God, right? And we also practice by using our resources. We practice becoming more pure like our spirit by using the resources of prayer, of fasting, declaring, decreeing, listening to gospel music, edifying gospel music, and things like that. But guess what? If we don't have a mind renewal, then guess what? Our change is temporary. Even with the Spirit of God in us, if we don't renew this mind, so therefore He gave us His Word, which renews our mind. So it brings the soul of the man and the spirit of the man on one accord in God. So I love that. So I find that I have to do a couple of things. I have to not only feed my soul, but I got to renew my mind. So I can't just be strong and think that's going to help me get through life. I'm not using drugs and alcohol no more because I'm going to be strong, and I'm just going to not do it anymore. And I'm going to use willpower. Well, guess what? There's more that need be done. So today we're going to be talking about being smart and not strong. So I am going to ask some questions. I like asking questions, and I want to make you think. I want to cause you to think. I want you to identify, if you're practicing your tools. I hear you guys are, I got tools today and I'm using them. Well, this is going to help us to identify if you're using your tools. And even so, this is what I want you to do to make this interesting. I want you to hold on 1 second again. So we're going to go with our first question. It's going to kind of make you think, am I using my tools? And I'm going to make it interesting by I want you to rate it. I want you to rate it, how well you're doing, you're using your tools. 1 point for if you're doing poorly in using that tool. 2, if you're doing fair. 3, if you're doing good. And 4, if you're doing excellent. Ms. Jackson, I'm doing that all the time. That is so common in my life right now. So 1, if you're doing poorly with that one. 2, if you're doing fair. 3, if you're good. 4, if you're excellent. And if that's too many numbers to remember, then we can just do 1, 2, 3. We'll do that. 1 is poor, 2 is okay, 3 is excellent. So we're going to get started. Are you practicing your thought stopping? Remember how I shared with you about the cycle that happens in your brain. First, there's a trigger, whether it's internal or external. From that trigger, it produces a thought. That thought, if we entertain it, can bring us into a response. That response can cause us and move us towards a relapse of old behaviors. So, Are you using your thought stopping techniques, your relaxations, your snapping your rubber band? Are you calling someone? Are you changing the channels of your mind? Are you using some of those thought stopping techniques? Go ahead, unmute your phone and share your rating.
Good morning. This is Lorena. I'm a 3.
Hey, I love it. I love it. She said, I'm good with that. Excellent. Anyone else?
Yes, Susu. I'm using mine also on relaxing. Like I think that's number 2 or 3. I'm not sure. I'm getting there slowly, but I am practicing. Has been some changes in my thoughts and how I think. Amen.
Excellent. Excellent. Awesome. Anyone else? Anyone else? And feel free to give me some details how you're using your thought stopping techniques. I'd love to hear it.
Sister Lupe, I didn't catch from what number, the rating number. Like, is it 1 to 3?
1 is poor, 2 is good. It's okay, but 3 is excellent. I'm practicing it all the time.
Oh, I would say that I go back and forth sometimes to a 1, to a 2, to a 3.
Okay.
And then back to a 1. But there was a time where it was always a 1.
Okay.
So I have to look at the progress.
That's right.
What I do, I haven't gone to the gym this week because I have a lot of stuff to do around the house, and I have parent conference and whatnot. That was helping me. That was a 3. And I call somebody because not just anybody, but people that I know that have experience and in the field as far as how to cope with certain things, or they use their coping tools.
Yeah.
And they're able to point things out that I might not see in myself.
Right.
And also I see like another perspective and another view of things. And sometimes you need that friend to kind of tell you, look over here, look what's going
Right.
on over here, because watch my blind sides. So I'm just grateful to have a good support, and just not venting to anybody, like I said, but just being very picky on who I vent to.
That's good.
Because it's not just about venting, it's also about receiving that receiving any type of, if they have a suggestion, it has to be first of all godly to me.
Mhm.
And also they have to have some experience handling some sort of experience that I'm going through in that arena. So if I vent to anybody, they're just gonna fill my mind with poison, and
Right.
I'm trying to remove the poison. So yeah.
Right. Excellent. I love that. Not just venting, but being selective on who I'm venting to so that I can trust the feedback that's going to be imparted in me, because seeds planted do grow. So what they say, you may say, nah, I don't want to take that advice, but it's planted. It's there now. It's there as a reserve. Even if the enemy wants to use that time, oh, you remember when so-and-so said, situation fit the bill, that comes up. So that's excellent, being mindful who you talk to. I want to tell you guys, even with situations of life, when you're getting feedback, even when they talk about dealing with anger, venting doesn't help. Venting doesn't help. People say venting helps. Venting doesn't help. It kind of builds up. It kind of produces more anger. It's like an avalanche. It gets bigger and bigger. But I like how Sister Lupe say, I'm not only just talking about it, but I'm talking about it to selective people so that I can receive the feedback that I need to bring a solution to my venting, to bring a solution, not just rehearsing the same thing. So that's excellent. Thank you so much. Anyone else? How you rate yourself on your thought stopping? And let me know about it. Oh, we talked to her. Oh, no. Miss Bianca, we haven't heard from you. Go ahead.
Um, I would like to rate myself as a 2 and a 3.
Okay.
Um, the stop thought process, I really like the rubber band method.
Mm-hmm.
That really gets me back into the real world, if I could say.
Yes.
Also changing my perception,
Okay.
and learning how to ground myself. So I have a few things that I use,
Mm-hmm.
because where one may not work at that particular time, it may be a
Right.
little more aggressive than it was the last time.
Right.
So
Right.
go a little deeper into my little bag and pull out something that I'm not used to using, and
Uh-huh.
find out that, hey, that worked. That worked also. So yeah, so I would say the rubber band, that's a 3. The relaxation, I try to do that. So I'm gonna use that as a 2.
Okay.
That would add a 2. Re Repositioning my mind,
Mhm.
because again, I will be one of those who feel like the cup is half empty instead of half full. So
Mhm.
I was that pessimistic thinker,
Yeah.
and so repositioning my mind, and where there be negative stuff, I try to kind of act it with something positive.
Excellent.
So those are the things that I use, and I think I do pretty good. But I think it was Sister Lupe that said, but some days, I might drop to a 2.
Right.
Thank you.
From 1, 2 to 3 and start all over again. I hear you. Excellent, guys. You guys are amazing. You're doing great. That thought stopping is key, because if we stop it at the thought, that's where we have our power. Not to say we don't have power in other areas of the process, because once a craving starts, or once the desire starts, the Bible tells us, it's conceived in our minds first. And if we entertain it, then it comes as a desire in our heart. It becomes a little harder to stop, because now it's gain momentum and coming out. Before we know it, we're acting it out at our own hands. And that's when it becomes negative behavior. That's when it becomes sin. That's when it becomes destructive. That's when it's subject to consequences. So if we can stop it at the thought, because the thought becomes things. So if we can stop it at the thought, watch your thoughts, they become your words, watch your words, because your words becomes your actions, watch your actions, because your actions become your habits, watch your habits, because your habits become your character, watch your character, because your character becomes your destiny. So it all starts in the thought. We're going to go to the next one. Scheduling. Are we scheduling? Are we trying to intentionally schedule our day? Are we proactively no longer walking around aimlessly, what I'm going to do? Oh, I got to do this. Oh, yeah, this, that, and the other. Let me turn back around, go over here. Let me do that. Oh, I missed that doctor's appointment. Oh, well, I have to reschedule it. I really needed it. But, are we intentionally scheduling our day? Are we bringing order to our day? Where there's no order, there's chaos. Everything is to be done decently and in order. If we want to overcome those unhealthy behaviors, we have to strategically and intentionally set the order of what we're going to do and where we're going to go and where we're not going to go in order to do that. So how are you on scheduling? 1 for very poor, 2 for good, okay, 3 for excellent. How are you on scheduling? Go ahead, unmute your phone, share, rate yourself, and let me know how you do it. Give me some details.
Good morning, this is Sister Lorena. I'm gonna say I'm a 2 and a 3.
Okay.
I fluctuate between the 2, because I could schedule and not follow through.
Okay.
So it sometimes I'm a 2 and sometimes I'm a 3. I'm good at it. Like, oh, I got this day with these appointments, and I make them to all. So
And guys, don't be so hard on yourself on the rating if you don't finish it all, because it's the proactive, intentional scheduling. Because whatever you don't finish, you can always reschedule it for the next day. So don't be so hard on yourself if you don't finish it all, but you start off scheduling to keep yourself geared in the right direction. Who else? How are you on scheduling?
Bianca, for me, I would say a 2 or a 3.
Okay.
I've gotten much better with the scheduling because I was one of those that's just, okay, well, hey, get up. Yeah, well, I'm gonna do this. Yeah. Oh, well, forgot to do that. Oh, well. But I've gotten better when it comes to scheduling because I realized that scheduling helps keep me sane. Uh, it gives me peace because when when I don't schedule and everything is just everywhere. Have you ever been in a room where I just used the bedroom. You've been in a bedroom where you got clutter all over the place and
Yes,
it's
my bedroom.
oh my goodness, it's like, but it not only do it just affect you when you look at it, but mentally
Yeah.
it affects you also. So for me, not scheduling, it
Like
affects me
that clutter.
mentally. It really do. Again, I would say 2, 3 would be my numbers that I would give for that. But again, that's something that I've learned and learning to continue to do. Because at first I wouldn't do that. Let's just get up. So this is my schedule. I do have a schedule. So I get up in the morning. I do my morning prayer. I read. And then I have another morning prayer that I jump on. Then I have the Joy Center that I jump on from 9:30 to 11 o'clock. Then I have maybe I have some doctor's appointments. Maybe I need to return some phone calls to some people. So I kind of have something that's already on the calendar, if I can say, every day for sure. I get up, I grab my spiritual warfare stuff, and I go there first, and then I move on. I exercise, I walk, even if I can't walk outside because it's getting cold.
Yeah.
Where I live at, it's either you got summer or you got winter. We don't have spring and we don't have fall here. It's either one or the other. So when it's summertime, you don't catch it early, you ain't gonna walk. And when it's wintertime, well, woe up to you. But what I realized is that I could just get up and just walk around in my house. So I usually turn on maybe some gospel music, find them long songs that last 24, 25 minutes, and I turn that on and I'll just walk around in the house. Ain't going to no particular thing or nothing, just walking around. So I can get those steps in. So I can consider that I exercise. I consider it. So having a schedule and meeting that schedule and having something that I do like on a consistent basis. Thank you.
Awesome. I love that. Great. Excellent. Thank you so much for sharing that. Anyone else?
Yes, I think since I've been attending the classes, I believe I am doing better on scheduling and following through with my schedule, where at times I would change my schedule to fit somebody else's schedule. But I'm doing better on that now. So, and as far as the schedule of my appointments, I might make those. But if I have free time for myself and somebody else wants something done, I change that around and do for them. But I'm finding myself doing better, just taking time out for me.
Excellent.
My schedule.
Excellent. Kudos to you, Miss Susu. Kudos to you. Excellent. Thank you so much. Anyone else? How you rate yourself on scheduling? We'll go to the next question. Keeping your appointments. Keeping your appointments is very, very, very important. And I know Miss Susu just kind of wade right into that. Like she said, she's removing herself. She's openly shared, that one of her unhealthy behaviors is enabling. So one of the things that she's doing is using her tools to stop that process. Sometimes it looks okay, but she knows that what it is. She knows that it's gone beyond just helping others. It's enabling. So what she's doing is not only keeping her schedule, but as we just heard her say, she's also attending her appointments, taking care. Remember we talked about self-care. We talked about some things that we need to do for ourselves. You know, we need to see the eye doctor. We need to see the dentist. Yes, we need to see the dentist. We need to consider, you know, our prevention checkups, you know, not just living in crisis. You know, when something goes wrong, that's when we go and take care of it. Making sure our kids are on schedule with their vaccinations, if you believe in that. You know, making sure they're in their wellness routine, because we're not only here for ourselves, but we have other that we're responsible for, whose health and wealth is based on our obedience and putting ourselves first. So how are we on maintaining our appointments for ourselves, our appointments for our responsibilities, our children, you know, and when I say children, I'm talking about your minors. I'm talking about your minors, because at some point it's up to our adult children to take responsibility for themselves, or we'll start enabling them, you know, and they'll always need you in order to cope. So we want to, I'm gonna make this clear. I'm talking about our minors, you know, because sometimes we can get so caught up in our own unhealthy behaviors that we're forgetting to take them to their dentist appointments. You know, we're forgetting to take them for their wellness exams so that they can be on a trajectory of good health. You know, sometimes we're forgetting about taking our car to be serviced. We're forgetting about making sure that we're safe because we're not making our appointments. So how are we on keeping appointments? Go ahead, unmute your phone and rate yourself.
Good morning, Sister Lorena. I'm pretty good with this. I'm gonna rate myself as a 3 because I make appointments and I'm pretty good at, especially when it comes to my minors, right? To follow through.
Yes. Awesome. Thank you for that, Sister Lorena. Anyone else? How are you on keeping appointments? 1 for not so good, 2 for 3 for real good. Excellent. We'll go to the next question. What about avoiding triggers? We talked about how the trigger, remember the stage, the whole stage that happens in our brain that we don't see, we know nothing about. But there's a certain stages that happen. And first, that trigger is what now leads to the second stage, which is the thought. The thought comes up. Let's say you're walking down the street and someone, the person that you pass by, they have on a cologne that you're not even thinking about that person. You're not even, you didn't have a dream about that person, none of that. But that cologne smell was a trigger. And now you're thinking about Jody, or now you're thinking about when you were in that ice cream parlor, or now the thought comes to where you were at that funeral where you were overcome with grief, or when you were exploited, you know, because of a place where you were that had that same smell. Maybe your abuser had that same scent. You know, maybe someone that did you wrong, maybe a scent that reminds you of your old lifestyle, you know, some of your old behaviors. Once that scent is smell, it's not like you gotta say, what does that remind me of? It's an automatic trigger. It triggers you, brain association. It triggers you to that moment, right to that place. Sometimes it triggers you into a place where everything was all good, but sometimes it triggers you back to that trauma. We talked about PTSD and how some of those flashbacks and those intrusions of mind happen. So what have you noticed? Are you avoiding triggers that you know to avoid? Because of course we don't know all triggers. We're learning it. This is a process. But the triggers you do know, going over Susie house or going over to the park after dark, going to certain parties, going around certain people, you know they're triggers. So you're avoiding them. Go ahead, unmute your phone. Share with me your rating on how well you're avoiding triggers. Go ahead.
Good morning, this is Sister Lorena. I'm gonna rate myself at a 3. I'm very aware of what triggers me. And when, you know, there's drugs, alcohol, and old behaviors that are occurring, I just stay away.
Yes.
I guard myself. I stay away.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you for that. Thank you. Anyone else?
Bianca, for me, I was trying to get my phone off for the appointment. Appointments, I rate myself as a 3. I have not always been a 3, but I'm so into my appointments that even if I get an appointment that now I realize that something else is coming up, like I have an appointment that was supposed to be on November the 11th, but I realize I have something else that I'm doing. So seeking out, can I come before then? So that was never something. That's never something that I would do. Oh well, hey, well, okay, make it. Oh well, we'll schedule it for further on down the line. So yeah, I think I do 3 with that. As far as staying away from triggers, it's definitely a 3. I don't put myself in compromised positions, even if I go somewhere and I know that something, maybe they having a party or something like that. I'll try to go early enough and I'll leave early enough before, children parties turn into grown folks parties.
Yeah.
I'll come early enough. I'll see little Pookie Doo and give a gift, and then I'll shake the spot and move on. El Torritos, I don't go to El Torritos, because that was one of the places that they served the margaritas, so I don't go there. So I try to be aware of what my triggers are, and I try not to put myself in those compromising positions. And if I find myself in one, I've already tried to figure out how I'm going to get out of here before all this starts, or I just don't go. Either or. Thank you.
Excellent, excellent. I like that. Even if you find yourself in a triggering situation, I'm not going to remain. I'm going to strategize quietly, and just like my grounding, I'm going to strategize my exit. So that's excellent. And even being okay now with just not going. Lots of times there's family functions that, especially in our early recovery, we just really cannot deal with, regardless to what the unhealthy behavior is. Sometimes some family members is triggering to us. Sometimes the family activity is triggering. Sometimes just a whole dynamic, seeing how they talk to one another or how one is treated or handled, it can trigger us to unhealthy behaviors. So sometimes we just have to be comfortable and just not going at all, and creating a life outside of that. So that's wonderful. Thank you so much. Anyone else? Avoiding triggers.
Yes, avoiding the triggers. Separation. I try to separate myself from, but it's kind of hard to separate yourself from folks and things, but I have to do self-talk sometimes too, not to do. Weigh it out, the right and wrong, the consequences if you do this, the consequences if you don't do that. But it's a self-talk, what's best, and try to avoid, like I say, let the person go through the process. Turn my back. It hurts, but you got to turn your back sometimes. And that's what I do. It's like the self-talk or just separate, not to be around the person, especially when they're in their addiction.
Yes, yes. That's excellent. I love that. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Anyone else? All right, we'll go to the next one. I like how Miss Susu said, sometimes I have to do self-talk in order to even avoid the triggers. I love that. So this is how I avoid my triggers. And I should say, some people you just can't. There's some people in your life where you cannot remove yourself from them. You can't avoid them totally, but you can change how you deal with that person. You can prevent that trigger's power in your life. And I like how Miss Susu said she uses self-talk. So that's excellent. Let's see here. What about avoiding people that amen your behaviors? Those people maybe that use drugs and alcohol, maybe those people that are that walk in anger, some of those party people, that practice unhealthy behaviors that you practice them with. How are you on those associations? Because some people are closer than others. They're not just a friend that they're not just an associate, but they are someone that's close to you that reinforced your unhealthy behavior. And I want us to look at this because, you know, I had a client some years ago that he was doing so well in his recovery from alcohol. And he had a friend that was coming in town. Oh, he was like a best bud to him. And I asked him, I said, have you made him aware that you are in recovery? And he said no. And he wanted to use willpower. He didn't want to say to him because that was their common denominator. Some friends, and I think someone shared this yesterday, some friends we have to let go because, as we'll see, they become triggers, temptations. They kind of keep us, and not the person, but the activity, the relationship, the brain association that we have with them. This is how we get down. So what that means is maybe it's a person that's in your life and they mean everything to you, but you'll notice that once you set aside this compulsive behavior, once you start dealing in recovery from it, like my previous client, he would start dealing with that alcohol addiction. He did not want to let that ruin his life, his home, his marriage. So when he got in treatment for it, and he was doing so well, oh, I was so proud of him. He was using his tools. He was overcoming some of the most hardest parts of his life. He was healing because he included treatment with therapy, which I would suggest to anyone. And he was dealing with some things that otherwise would be an open wound. But what happened was a dear friend, homeboy, heart to heart, like a brother to him, was coming in town to see him. And guess what? Their old way of chilling or having a good time, their old interaction was going to the club, having a drink, popping collars and popping bottles. So here it is now. His friend is coming. This is what they do. This is the basis of their relationship. So I was asking him, have you advised him that you're in recovery? And he said no. And I asked him if he was going to before they went on to their usual activities. Why would he expect anything different from you? Because you have not set that new boundary to say, hey, I'm in recovery. I don't do that anymore, da, 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 and see where the friendship goes from there. Instead, unfortunately, over that weekend, he relapsed and he went through a lot of guilt and shame. So this will prevent us. How are we dealing with our old friends, family, associations that really operate in the same unhealthy behaviors that we're overcoming? Go ahead, unmute your phone and share. Rate yourself for me, please.
This is Lorena, and I rate myself at a 3.
Hey.
Unfortunately, I had to let go of so many people. Sadly, I had to let go of so many people. No love lost, just we're not heading the same direction.
Absolutely.
And I can't be around you. I could say hi and bye, but there's nothing in common no more.
Right. Absolutely. Thank you so much for that, Sister Lorena. Anyone else?
Sister Luca here. I had to disconnect from people as well. And also, like when I do get messages or messenger or through old people friends, I keep it very limited.
Yeah.
And sometimes I block them. Or if I have a childhood friend that invited me to her wedding, I knew there was going to be alcohol and whatnot. I just stayed. I give myself at least 2 hours. Like, okay, leave after that. Because then, you know, if I stay there too long, I might just, start drinking. And I noticed that it was kind of like a test to myself to see if I was ready to be in an environment where there might be, because the holidays are coming up, might be alcohol and whatnot. And I noticed that an hour or 2, that's my max. I gotta bounce.
Okay.
After that, it's like, well, why not? And then they start putting these songs that, makes you want to drink. And I'm like, okay, yeah, it's time for me to go. It's time. And I let them know I don't drink, so they don't try to shove it down my throat. And those that do try, I stay away from those.
Yes.
Also, when I do receive messages, like people trying to arouse me and just tell you never change and you're the same and blah, blah, blah.
Wow.
I don't respond. I don't respond anymore.
That's good.
I think not responding, it's a response, so I don't try to make them understand, explain myself. If I did that already and that didn't work, then I'm just gonna save my energy and keep my peace and not respond, and we just not seeing each other, seeing eye to eye. That's okay. We could agree to not to disagree.
That's right. That's right. Wow, I love that. I love that. Having that self-assurance within yourself that I don't have to respond. And for those that I really want to, I will respond, but I'm not going to prove who I am. I'm just going to live who I am. And I love how she has the boundaries within herself. I'm going to go to the wedding. 1 hour, 2 hours into the reception, I'm going to bounce because I know my limitations and I'm paying attention to my limitations. I'm aware of my limits. We all have them. We all have strengths we're really great in, and we have some weaknesses that we're not so great in. And then some things we just have limits. We have to learn our limits. That's how come knowing ourselves and not allowing those things in our life that prevents us from knowing ourselves to take place, to overcome us, because we have to know ourselves. I have to know the parameters of Andrea. So therefore, if I don't know myself, then I'll easily find myself in a situation where I am trying to get myself out of a situation all the time, or trying to recover from a situation because I found that I've crossed my own limits. I went beyond my kryptonite and I was supposed to not even go to the kryptonite. So awesome. Thank you so much for that. Anyone else? Avoiding triggers. 1, not so good. 2, okay. 3, I'm great. We'll go to the next one. Let's see. Exercising. Now I'm a blackout on this one, but exercising. Are we getting that exercise, not just for your body image, but are we getting our exercise? Because remember, we talked about the circulation of the neurotransmitters, the healthiness of the blood flow that keeps our neurotransmissions transmitting. It keeps us circulating in healthiness. So are we doing some sort of exercising? It doesn't have to be a major gym thing. It doesn't have to be that you're running marathons, but are we doing something to keep ourselves into some movement and healthiness? Because believe it or not, it has a great impact on what we think and what we do. So when we're trying to move into healthier lifestyles, exercise can be key. So go ahead and mute your phone and share. I'm gonna bow out from this one myself, but how would you rate yourself? 1, poor. 2, okay. 3, excellent. Go ahead and share.
2, 3.
All right.
Only because, again, and it's no excuses, because I found, like I said, another way to do it. But some days I may lack on it or slack on it. But overall, I try to do some form of movement. I've had people before me that I've seen where they didn't do movement, and so I see what it did to them in their body. I see what it did to them in their mind, and so I am that blood runs through my vein also. So whatever I could do, like I said, to get moving. If I can't go outside, I just get up and just start walking around for 30, 45 minutes, from room to room or whatever, so it may not be exercise to someone else, but I say it's exercise for me.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you.
Wow, thank you. Such great dedication too. Thank you for that. Like you say, the weather changed, no excuse. I'm gonna move room to room for 30, 45 minutes. That's awesome. Anyone else?
Good
Lupe
morning,
here.
Sister.
Oh, go ahead.
Yes,
Go ahead.
I do. I
Oh,
find
every,
myself now doing the exercise, even though as Jacka said, you know, if you feel good outside, you can do it inside. But fortunately, the weather's been good enough for me, even in a light sprinkle. I like the feel of the rain, light sprinkle, you know, so I still do my little lap. And I also try to find myself relaxing the mind, you know, just even if it's 5 or 10 minutes, you know, just clear your head, my head, and think of good thoughts, things, you know, that's relaxing to me also. Instead of all the negatives or whatever else, just relaxing and think about the goodness of the Lord, what He done. That just relaxes the soul. And I just, you know, I just try to keep up with that physical exercise as well, but the mind, it needs a moment of relaxation, even if 5 or 10 minutes. That's me.
Wow, I love that. You took exercise to a whole different level. Your exercise of your physical body, which also helps your emotional self, but also, like you say, your mental self needs the exercising as well. It needs not only exercise, but relaxation. I love that because lots of times our brain is always thinking, and a lot of us don't get 8 hours of sleep at night. And without that 8 hours of sleep, you don't give your organs, including your brain, time to sleep and recover. So it holds a big impact. So it needs to be exercised and it needs to also rest. Thank you so much for that, Miss Susu. Miss Sister Lupe, please go ahead.
yes, I'll give myself a 2. Um, I have to work on making it every day, at least Monday through Friday. And I'm still trying to get organized, my appointments and whatnot. So sometimes that kind of affects my little routine that I have to do this and that. Learn. Sometimes I just say, yeah, I'm available. And then I look at my schedule and I was like, oops, you know, so I have to constantly reschedule or I double book. And so I realized I really need a calendar on my wall. The phone is great, but I need to see it. I need it on my face, a reminder.
Yeah.
So when I walk by it, I see it.
Yeah.
And as far as exercising, I could tell in my mind and my body when I don't exercise.
Okay.
When it makes a big difference. So to me, exercise is something that I need to do for my mental health. And since I didn't do it today and yesterday, I could really tell. I kind of tend to, and then I stayed up late with Sister Lorena last night.
She
So
bust
it's
you
like
out.
we both did. So it's like
Why throw me under the bus?
that's probably why she was late last night. No, that's also something that I need to work on, letting my body rest and recover. So the next day I look forward to exercising, not oh I'm tired, let me sleep and then I'll exercise. That's not gonna happen. So yeah.
Thank you, Sister Lupe. Sister Lorena, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, well, on this one, I'm gonna rate myself as a 1.
Okay.
And only because I struggle. I struggle to do exercise. My apartment is not that big. I can't walk around as freely. And then seeing the same sights over and over again would just give me a headache. So yeah, I'm a number 1 on that one.
Oh, that's awesome. She said, just give me a headache altogether. That's awesome. Identifying what we have and what we don't have, what we can do, what we can't. That's great. I love it. What about this one, guys? And I don't want you guys to judge yourself. We're all a work in progress. But again, 1, if it's just poor, 2, if it's okay, 3, if you're good. Being truthful. You know, sometimes we that old compulsive behavior, one of them could be lying, you know, but whatever the compulsive behavior is, being truthful about it sometimes it doesn't always feel good, you know, depending on what the truth is for that day. Sometimes being truthful, it's easy to say, hey, you know, we talked about, you know, if your 10-year-old see you drinking, you know that upsets her. You know, she asks you, did you drink? And you did. What's your response going to be? You know, sometimes we can say yes, you know, I would tell her the truth. And in the situation, maybe sometimes looking at those little innocent eyes and what it's going to do to her and this, that, and the other, you know, you may tell a half truth, a part truth, or you may be untruthful altogether, you know, depending on circumstances. We talked about that with the housing, you know, maybe to one person, oh no, I'll just go and get me another house. I'm gonna tell the truth, you know, maybe with someone, you know, who may not be as flexible, you know, or resilient, you know, maybe they may say, oh, I better hold on to what I got. I'm just going to tell the untruth now and just kind of correct the behavior later. Wherever you are, again, there's no right or wrong. There's no perfection in it. We all strive for perfection. So I don't want us to feel condemned in our ratings because we may not feel that we meet the mark 100%. But I want to ask you, and being truthful, you know, we talked about boundaries. You know, how can I continue to grow if I don't be honest with myself? Me being dishonest with myself prevents me from knowing myself. It prevents others from knowing me. So sometimes being dishonest is just a way to cover a part of me that's vulnerable that I don't want to let out to that individual. Is that right or wrong? You know, it's up to the individual, because just because you ask me, have I ever been raped? I may not think that's any of your business. And so maybe I don't have the confidence to say that to that person that's asking me. So I may say, no, just an example, you know, just trying to show there's different scenarios. So I don't want anyone to be condemned when I ask this question if you don't give a full-fledged 3. So again, being truthful overall, how would you rate yourself? 1 for poorly, 2 for it's okay, 3 excellent. Go ahead, unmute your phone and share.
God bless you. This is Sister Lorena. I'm gonna rate myself at a 2.
Okay.
Because it also depends on the person and situation.
Yeah. Thank you. Awesome. Anyone else?
What were the rates again?
1 for poorly, 2 for it's okay, 3 excellent.
Between 2 and 3.
Okay. So a
Like you
2.5.
Depends on the situation. Or not say anything.
But just sit there like a mute.
Frog on the log.
Excellent. Awesome. You guys are excellent. You guys are awesome. Anyone else being truthful?
2.5.
2.5. Okay.
You did a good scenario about the rape or whatever. You know, you may not get the full truth of that depending on who you are.
Who you are, right?
Yeah. Then another thing too, depending on whether or not I feel like you can handle
Yes.
my stuff. You know what I'm saying? So definitely would have to be a 2.5 in situation circumstances.
Awesome. Thank you for that. And I like how you brought that to light about you may not be able to handle my truth. So I'm gonna save you by not telling my whole truth. That's excellent. That's excellent. Any others?
I'm sorry if I could just say that. I have a pastor, and one thing she teaches us, you know, as far as us confessing different things, You know, yeah, confession is good for the soul and everything, but you make sure that when you put it out there, that you have been healed from it.
Absolutely.
Because everybody ain't gonna come and grab you and say, "Oh, I love you," and "Oh, wow," you know.
Absolutely.
There's gonna be some that gonna be sitting in the cut like, I knew it. Yeah, look at her, look at him, or whatever. So, yeah, I have a pastor that teaches us that you be mindful. If you're not healed from something, then maybe it's not your time to share what that happened in the
That's
full of it. Thank you.
That's right. That's right. Wise words. Thank you. If you're not ready to hear it back or expect that negative response, if it's not something that you've healed from, I would agree with your pastor. I would suggest that you kind of keep that to yourself or share that in safety with someone that can handle that and respond in ways that are healthy for you, because everyone cannot be exposed to your vulnerabilities. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Anyone else? All right, all right, all right. We're gonna go to our last one here, and then I want to hear from you guys. Miss Susu, were you trying to say something?
No,
Okay. She said no.
I forgot to put the phone back on mute. I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. I thought you were just ready to participate. Thank you so much. How are you on going to your supportive places? Now, wherever your supportive places are, you know, 1 is not so good, 2 is okay, and 3 is excellent. You know, where do you go to get your support? You know, lots of times I heard some people say the other day, you know, I don't do groups, you know, but I do church. Church satisfies me in that dysfunctional place. You know, it keeps me on alert because the principles that are taught are equivalent, if not better, for my opinion, you know, than of a 12-step group. You know, don't get me wrong, I'm not shaming 12-step groups. I love the fact that 12-step is what it is. The whole 12-step recovery support system is what it is. But everyone has their own, everyone is not comfortable in 12-step. Everyone's not helpful or open or comfortable in a mental health support group. Everyone's not comfortable at church. Everyone's not comfortable at mosque. Everyone is not comfortable, you know, in some of these supportive circles. So wherever you get your support, are you faithful to it? Are you attending it? Are you okay with it? Are you attending it in the way that you should, so that line upon line and precept upon precept, you can be built up? How are you in that? Go ahead, unmute your phone and share.
Good morning, this is Sister Lorena. I haven't gone to the 12-step groups only because you know, the pandemic happened, and then my schedule got crazy all of a sudden after. But I do stay connected to my sponsor, and I do, you know, that's one of my greatest steps. I also have a sponsee. I have people that I can talk to, and support groups as well as church.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Because the only way our supportive groups can help us is if we attend them. So that's excellent. I like how Lorena said, you know, I may not attend 12 steps in full, because I want to say this. And again, no pun to 12 step. The program is amazing, you know, in theory, but sometimes not always in practice, because sometimes you have the dope dealers outside waiting for you to come out. Sometimes you have people that still going through their process and they act in some kind of way. But then one of the things that I hear the most, and again, this is no pun, but this is an acknowledgement that I've noticed in this industry. I've noticed that a lot of people don't go to speaker meetings because they're triggered. They're triggered in those speaker meetings. So if the whole program don't work for you, I like how Sister Lorena say, but I stay connected to my sponsor. She take what does work for her. She's not going to throw the baby out with the bathwater. I'm going to throw this bathwater out, but I'm going to hold the baby because the baby's working for me. The baby's working for me. So I'm going to hold on to my sponsor. I'm going to hold on to the practice of the 12-step program by being accountable to my sponsor, listening to my sponsor, talking to my sponsor, and as well as now making myself accountable to someone else. You know, I'm going to also give back. I'm going to be that big sister. I'm going to be that sponsor now to someone else. So now I'm accountable to them while being accountable to the one that's over me, that oversees me, that kind of assists me. So I love that. Thank you so much. Sometimes we feel like if we're not doing things perfectly, oh, I'm not really doing that. She took what's good for her and she's walking in that. Excellent, excellent. Anyone else? Are you attending your support system?
Yes, my support group is my pastor / apostle I can go to, and several members at my church, that I can confide some things in. So, these classes now that I'm attending, this is my support right here.
Excellent. I love that. Excellent. So happy to be added to the support list. Thank you, Ms. Susu. I love that. I love how she's identified, even though church is her support, she's also identified there are some supportive people that I can even walk into that closer measure of support. So that's amazing. Thank you so much. Anyone else?
I would have to rate. I would like to rate myself a 3.
All right.
Because I do get support. There's a scripture that said, above all, I will that you prosper, be in good health, even as your soul prosper.
Yeah.
So my soul prospering in the word of God, and with going to church, also get those tools that I need spiritually. Being in good health is getting what I need physically as well as emotionally and spiritually. So I do talk to somebody outside of what I get spiritually. So I think I'm kind of now, I think I'm well-rounded.
Okay.
Because there was a time in my life that, hey, if church don't do it, it just can't be done.
Okay.
Yeah. But I realized that I need more also, that's why, they're there, the talk therapists, they're there for that reason.
That's right.
So, and of course, Joy Life Center, of course, Joy Life Center, because one thing I've realized, that if you take the tools that is given and you work them according to what you need, according to what works for you. I have found out that I am a living witness that they work.
Yeah.
Ain't something that I heard or read on a flyer or anything like that I've been a part of, and I realized that if I use it in the time that I need to use it, and if I have all those tools in my backpack, when I can't get to an individual, or when I can't get to my pastor, or I can't get to the talk therapist, I have some tools that I can use on my own. So yes.
Yes. Excellent. Love it, love it, love it. We all need support. That's the only way we're going to survive. Thank you for that. Anyone else? All right, all right. Well, thank you guys so much. As we see, it is very important that we be smart, not just strong. Sometimes we say, oh, I'm going to use my willpower, or I'm strong enough, I'll just say no, or well, I'll go, but I'm not going to do it when I get there. We put ourselves in compromising situations when we do that. Let's just be smart. Let's use the tools that prevent us from being in those situations. So thank you so much, guys. What a wonderful day. We're going to read our last thought, our last and final thought today. Today's title, if I was to entitle it, well, I didn't entitle it. It's in the book. Change is sometimes necessary. How appropriate. That's how come we have to change the way we respond, change what we do. You know, we always think, oh, I've always done it like this. Guess what? There comes a day when you always done it like that, but it don't work anymore. You know, that doesn't work anymore. So let's take a look. Improvement is our subtitle. Despite the fact that many of us live turbulent, chaotic lives, we may find in sobriety that we don't like change. Anybody don't like change? This causes us to seek our security in familiar places rather than to reach out for the unknown that lies ahead. This may not be real security. However, can everyone hear me? Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. If you don't mind, I'll start over. Despite the fact that many of us live turbulent, chaotic lives, we may find in sobriety that we don't like change. This causes us to seek our security in familiar places rather than reach out for the unknown that lies ahead. This may not be real security, however, because familiar places and situations also change. Our resistance to change may simply be the fear of trying something new. If we find that fear of change is causing us to put up with a situation that becomes unsatisfactory, we need to adjust our attitude towards it. While we view change as risky, it may be very necessary, and it may be the very route of improvement that we need. Let's start by simply accepting the idea that change is sometimes necessary. After that, we can expect our higher power to guide us to the new situations that are right for us. So for today I may find myself fearing change. I'll remind myself that nothing ever stays the same and that only change can bring the true good I'm always seeking. So guys, you know what? We have a few minutes. I heard a couple of mumbles on that change. I heard a few people say, oh, no, I don't like change. I heard it all through your mute button. So we have about 2 or 3 minutes. So anybody want to talk about how change feels to them and how they're coping with change? Well,
Sister Lupe here.
Go ahead, Sister Lupe.
Well, I would say for me, it's uncomfortable. It depends what change. If it's a change area, I'm losing weight, of course, that's pretty
It's a good change.
That's a good change. But when it's a change, you know, as far as having to go to court, settle some stuff in court, and it's just it comes with fear, fear of the unknown, of what's gonna happen. And I know God always comes through, but there's always that, I've learned a long time ago that sometimes God allows things to happen for a reason, and it doesn't always go to my favor. So of what I thought I wanted. So I just got to remember that all things work for the good, regardless if I get what I want or not. But absolutely, change is the change that I'm going through now is just it's almost like a fear that's trying to taunt me every minute and every day. So but it's necessary. So I'm glad I'm able to go through the change with God now and not by myself, and with the support that I have now.
Yes. Awesome. I love that. Awesome. 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 She's going through the change with God and with support from God. I love that. Thank you so much. Anyone else? What's your view on change? How are you dealing with it? Well, all right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Again, we want to continue to use our tools. We don't want to rely on our strength. We don't want to necessarily rely on our willpower alone. We want to use the tools that keep us in safety. One thing that I love, a scripture that says, that in the multitude of counsel, there is safety. So sometimes with our support centers, sometimes with our groups, sometimes with, going to church, talking to the elders or someone, like Sister Lupe say, that have some substance to give you, not just talking to anybody about it, but being strategic and intentional about what you're doing and where you're going to get your infilling, then guess what? That change may be scary, but you have the multitude of counsel around you, therefore you are
How they
safe.
go?
So therefore you are safe. So we're going to go ahead and close out. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you for another amazing group. Live free, guys. Remember that. Always live free. God bless you all, and I look to hear from you on tomorrow. God bless.